Another year, another retrospective round out of what game deserves to be on the top of the list in every yearly round. If it were me, personally, I would have put Persona 4 Golden on the list. It counts!
2020, the year that, well, to put it bluntly, was an absolute train wreck. Like, Jesus, we got COVID, killer hornets on the loose, the amount of natural disasters, riots on the street, and just to end the year off, Scott the Woz getting hacked on Twitter.
Scott said the N-word! My icon is ruined!
Now, gaming, on the other hand, depending on how rich you might be, actually might be one of the best, which is surprising since the pandemic slowed down most game productions. To be fair, I don't think we're gonna see another great year like 2017 or 2018. We're still suffering from the global pandemic that's going into 2021, but 2020 wasn't that bad, far from it actually. We got Animal Crossing, an enhanced port for Persona 5, a remake of Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 7, GranBlue Fantasy Versus, and Doom Eternal, which all released on March and April. I'm sure someone's wallet was dying during those 2 months. Once again, I'd like to stress that this is all my opinion, and if you got a game that released this year that you enjoyed but didn't make it onto the list or even the honorable mentions, feel free to comment down below. But if I didn't include a game even during the honorable mentions, chances are it's either a game that I didn't play, a game that I personally feel I would not enjoy, or absolutely despise with a passion. Yeah, that's right, f*** you, Cooking Mama Cookstar!
So with that in mind, let's start off with the honorable mentions, starting with Yakuza 0,
Yakuza Kiwami,
Kingdom Hearts 1.5, and Super Mario 60. Okay, you get the idea.
remasters, ports, whatever you want to call them, yeah, you get the picture. These games straight up play similar enough to their original counterpart that I don't think they can be considered a Game of the Year material. And even then, with some of these iterations, the original plays better than the remaster anyway, so it's kinda like you're getting a downgrade. But it's nice to play these games once in a while just to live up your nostalgia, or play the games that you never got the chance to do so when you were a kid, or to play these games for a limited time offer. Hope you're not looking forward to March 31st, cause boy, those scalpers are gonna have a field day. Okay, now I know this game could be bundled similar towards the ports and remasters, but Persona 4 Golden is a friggin' good game. Sure, it has aged graphically with an obvious PlayStation Vita renders, but this game, if you're a Persona fan and don't own a dying system, the PC port of Persona 4 Golden is one of the best experiences you can ever have. They even have Nintendo Switch icons. Tell me, what PC game lets you see Switch button prompts natively? Plus, this is to make up the fact that Persona 5 Royal is not on the list. Oh yeah, Persona 5 Royal is not on the list. I know that this is technically a new game, or at the very least an enhanced edition of the original, but I feel that this game doesn't drastically do enough different that exemplifies a unique experience. Like, okay, with Persona 4 Golden, it is a full-blown upgrade, but that's because the original Persona 4 on PS2 kinda sucked. For the original Persona 5, the game was already magnificently good. If you combine that factor with Persona 5 Royal into the ranking, it's like changing a grade paper from an A- to an A. Like, calm down, Atlas, the game's already good. Besides, Persona 5 got my Game of the Year for 2017 anyways. If you have not experienced Persona 5 in any form yet, then go. Just get this game. Stop watching this video and buy yourself a copy and complete it to get the Platinum Trophy!
Okay, maybe not that far, but you can tell I like this game a lot. But I'm more of a rhythm game lover, and I sense a lack of rhythm games on my forte. Yeah, this'll do.
Project DIVA Megamix is probably the definitive way to experience the Project DIVA series, assuming you don't own Project DIVA X. The game blends in the best of compilations of the original 2F games, plus some Japanese exclusive and arcade mixes, even the 3DS games too. I do have some issues with some songs being shortened when other songs get the full tracks treatment. Literally one song consists of one chorus and an outro. I get that it's because of the fact that they ported the tracks from their original counterpart, even with its charting as well, for better or for worse. I'm just saying guys, Luca is not yellow. And ultimately, that made me not want to include the game on my official top 10. It's a compilation game more than anything. Yes, technically it's a brand new game, but I sort of don't feel like it's a new game.
Seriously, I've been talking about ports and kinds of ports so much that I've yet to talk about a brand new game. Alright, I think I got my lines memorized. Let me just press the record button.
Well, on the topic of rhythm games, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory takes the well-established character action combat of the Kingdom Hearts series and turns that into a rhythm game, and surprisingly, it works very well. Most of the functions such as jumping, attacking, and reactionary commands work very well with the timing of each button press. The charts do vary in quality though. It's a little confusing visually. Sometimes the charting plays either the rhythm, percussion, or bass when the melody of the song sounds more in focus. The graphic sprites can get confusing whenever you get a good attack attack rather than an excellent attack. More so painful when you're going for an all-excellent run. But it's a rhythm game. The joy of going through the rhythm of the beat is what's fun about these types of games. And the song selection is amazing, spanning from nearly every Kingdom Hearts game. Sure, there's no pirates, and Rico to get somewhat of the Final Fantasy Smash Bros. Treatment. Wait a minute, I can't make that joke anymore. Sephiroth is in Smash. Damn it! I genuinely believe that any rhythm game enthusiast will see the appeal towards this game. You guys remember the good old days of the arcade playing Final Fight or, well, Streets of Rage? Then let me tell you, Streets of Rage 4 is an absolute blast to play through. Fluid combat with extensive combos, a variety of playable characters, a risk-reward factor of combo specials, environmental damage, weapons to use, tough as balls boss fight, and ample it all up with some of the most beautiful 2D art you will ever see. Sure, it's on a short side, you can beat this game in about 4 to 5 hours, but the replay value of harder difficulties and multiplayer, this is the type of game you want to experience just to beat up some baddies.
What else can I say that can convince you guys that this game's already worth a mention? Oh shoot, that's 2 points for Nintendo on the PC market!
Alright, well, this is a new experience for me. This is the year I finally invested in a VR headset. The year I played rhythm games using a lightsaber, dived into the Matrix shooting some red randos in bullet time, and lost my virginity to a fake girlfriend. But none of these games come out this year with the exception of this one, Half-Life Alyx. To tell you the truth, this was my first Half-Life game. I did own the entire Half-Life collection on Steam, but I didn't get to play the first game until after playing Half-Life Alyx. This is a great game to start off with. It's a spin-off, so there's no need to play through the original to understand the story. But what I'm immersed with is a virtual reality filled with horror, tension of dread, and shooting the undead with nothing but your pistol. Most of my fun of this game was just moving around the environment or interacting with what's in front of me. I didn't go deep into the game, unfortunately. I got stuck in this voodoo puzzle. But this is certainly a game I'd love to continue in. If you're interested in plugging yourself into the Matrix, there's no better game than Half-Life Alyx.
So with that out of the way, let's get on to the main event, the top 10 countdown. I'll be counting down from my 10th entry all the way to my number 1 pick. And what better way to start off with than with a wrestling game?
Zoe is Bae. GranBlue Fantasy Versus is a fun fighting game that any beginner can get into. For those complaining about how hard it is to do a quarter circle motion, well, first off, you guys know how to do a spin jump in Super Mario Sunshine, but 2 directions and a button press is too tough? But secondly, the game takes some tips from Rising Thunder and includes a direction and a button, at the cost of a cooldown time, so you guys literally have no excuse. First time playing through the game, I had no idea who these characters are. I never played the first GranBlue game. Well, since it was Japan only, nor did I watch the animation or read the light novels, so GranBlue Fantasy Versus was the first time I've been exposed to this IP. The base characters fit well with each of their archetypes, and the combat animation looks so smooth it makes my butter on toast look jealous. And the fun continues with new characters being added. Again! Have you seen Zoe? Waifu bias aside, each character has something that feels very right at home if you're into other fighters. So even fighting game veterans can dip their toes in and give this game a try. You've got Gran, who's essentially Ryu, Zeta, who's essentially Ken, charge characters, grapplers, wherever the hell Wayne is. Who the hell invited a card game to fight? I would say that this game is easily the best fighting game I played this year, but that's mostly because it was the only fighting game released this year. I mean, what is it even competing against? EA Sports? Free-to-play games usually don't gravitate to me no matter how many Raid Shadow Legend ads I see. Genshin Impact was one of the exceptions as, unlike those free-to-play games, this legitimately feels like a proper AAA free-to-play. Minus some unpolished bugs. Even so, I still enjoy the lore of the game. The environment looks beautiful, the rewards you get from exquisite treasure chests that adds to the dopamine I need to feel accomplished. Hell yes, science! Even the story characters you unlock just for playing the game are absolutely fun. Admittedly, most of the fun will come from the characters you roll, and if you don't get lucky enough, you will feel disappointed. And I might have been lucky enough after getting 2 5 stars as a free-to-play player, so that already affected my personal enjoyment. But the fact that 4-star units are not only fun, but still viable to use is still amazing. Plus, even if these are just 4-star units, I think I've built them up to be a devastating team. With Kaya being my main go-to offense, he can rack up quite a lot of damage. In conjunction with Electro and Hydro characters, this man is a force to be reckoned with. Climbing the Rocky Mountains with Lisa gives you the fastest amount of runtime. I'm serious, she's legitimately the fastest climber in the game. And can I just say I love Xinyan just for the fact that she's a rock star? Don't ask why she's a Chinese born and bred citizen that somehow inherited a Texan accent. I legitimately wonder if in the voice acting world, that's how they localize Kansai accents. Plus the game is still going and I'm still in the middle of story progression. Every character you meet, every character you see has something interesting to do or say. I do think the combat and daily tasks can be pretty repetitive, but it's somewhat of a good distraction when you just want to have fun exploring the world of Mondstadt and Leeway. I can see myself continuing to play through this game in 2021. Mostly because my friends love raiding my world since I'm so underleveled. I feel if the game made a lot more improvements to the original, it definitely would have been higher on the list, but as it stands, I believe Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is a satisfactory remake that you can still enjoy if you like old 3D collectathons. The graphics could not look any better. The buoyancy, stretchy design of the characters and the colorful environment definitely give the original a complete upgrade. Although to be fair, comparing a GameCube game to a PlayStation 4 should naturally be an obvious clause. Everything I remember and enjoy about the original still holds up to the remake. The task you do when collecting golden spatulas, the voice acting that still punch those voice lines, it's all faithfully recreated. The combat and platforming are still the best parts of this game. Just exploring the sandbox world of Bikini Bottom from Jellyfish Fields to Rock Bottom, the completionist in me just oozes the joy whenever I complete this task. I've already stated how much I enjoy the game from the fact that I completed it twice on my PS4 and PC copy. I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but this is a game I do want people to enjoy and it easily gets my approval. Except for maybe Mr. Krabs' voice lines. We seriously need a mod of Clancy Brown voicing him back. In a world where all of us have been isolated indoors, Animal Crossing New Horizons was there to keep us occupied from the struggling times we had to go through. It's a fun life simulator where you can just relax and take in the seaside resort as you pay your taxes or clean up the island from weeds. It's weird, these are the things everyone hates doing, but Animal Crossing New Horizons can make the grind somehow fun. Decorating your randomly generated island, and when you're done trashing your own island with crap, you can always visit your friend's island and interact with their residents in town. To tell you the truth, I think I probably wouldn't even attempt to play this game if not for its brilliant marketing. The friends that collaborate in building the island, the completionists willing to collect every bug, fish, and fossil. It also helps that the internet essentially made Doom Eternal its brother counterpart. Hell yeah! Blood, violence, dismemberment, and killing some motherfucking demons! Doom Eternal is there to satiate your primal urges.
Yeah, f you, meat!
The game is non-stop action. Don't even think about retreating cause that won't last you a second. You are rewarded via continuous kill streaks, but it's also really hard since you are bombarded with enemy after enemy, some even with specific weaknesses, but hot damn are they satisfying as ever to get one enemy after another until the next destination. And even during the travel, there's platforming and collectibles to get, missions and maps to replay in this new open world 3D Metroidvania, more challenges to partake in. This game is a nightmare come true. The game just oozes with disgusting demons and even more disgusting demons when you decapitate their eye sockets. These guys have been faithfully recreated from their original Doom counterparts into the new generation. I was legitimately worried when picking the game up if it was going to live up to expectations of the Doom reboot that was released back in 2016, but I'm glad to say this game lived up to those expectations and more. A game that respects the Eastern culture and recreates them in such an elegant and beautiful way. Ghost of Tsushima is a tragic tale of a lone samurai who's had a second chance at life. The topography, the scenery, there's no game out there that pushes the PlayStation 4 to its limits.
Yeah, that's right. None at all. There have been no other games that can compete with the graphical power that is Ghost of Tsushima on the PlayStation 4.
The world is your treasure as you defeat the hordes of Mongol soldiers invading Japan and restore honor to the Shimura family. You build an army throughout your adventure and every single one of them has a story to tell, from Yuna's plea to help her brother Taka, Masiko's struggles of being the sole survivor of the Adachi clan, Ishikawa's revenge to go after his apprentice Tomoe.
See, this is why you don't trust the Banana Klansman.
And to top it off, your own character's story to free Japan from the Mongol invasions. But his struggles to accept the order and honor may dictate his true calling as he questions whether or not the old way of the samurai is enough to save the world of Tsushima, or an old telling that will only be remembered as a past tale. Also, you could be naked. You think Captain America's butt looks good? This is Japan's butt, and it is glorious. Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time is the true successor of the third game, and that's a title to be damn proud of. Move over, Wrath of Cortex, cause this game is how you properly develop a sequel. The title is very fitting. After nearly 20 years of mediocrity and just plain awfulness, we finally get a game that I'm proud of calling a Crash Bandicoot game. The platforming, the level design, multiple playable characters, the sheer amount of difficulty and collectibles, all is amped up to maximum to create this game with its beautiful CG and comedic endeavors. Level design that just kicks you in the nuts because you seem to miss that one box, but the challenge is something there I absolutely crave. Collectibles that unlock flashback levels, perfect relics that really test your endurance and vigor, platinum relics to test how well you know the level enough to speedrun. This game's the best of both worlds. Breezing through the level? Yeah, that's fun and all, but you can't say you've grown hair on your chest until you've collected everything the game has to offer. Now, I do get that this type of game may not be for everyone. The challenge may be a little too much, the amount of missed jumps or mistimed box explosions can be demoralizing, but this game becomes so much more fun when you decide to play through it again with the knowledge you have now. The second run through, I had a blast playing through it because I knew what to do. I knew where to go and how to complete each level, and when I managed to get that perfect relic, I know I've accomplished one of the hardest Crash games to date. This is a sequel that every Crash fan must play. It is that good. I don't think I've ever talked about the Tony Hawk series, but let me change that by saying Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is the best Tony Hawk game I've ever played. Get it? Because it says 1 plus 2, so it means 3, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is also a game that exists. Now, where's my remake for this one, damn it? Pretty please? The Tony Hawk IP has gotten to a massive decline ever since the 5th game, so there were some fears as to whether or not this remake can revitalize the franchise, and thanks to Vicarious Visions, they succeeded, and mechanics that made the Tony Hawk game so good is here. Manuals that sustain your combos, specific button prompts for special moves, grinds and licks, and thank God they didn't include that bailout mechanic from the second game. I got worried if they were ever going to introduce that, but that doesn't seem to be the case. All the maps you remember from the first 2 games have been remade in HD, and it looks good. The soundtrack is easily the one thing that defines the series. They managed to get 90% of the music tracks from the first and second game. Classics like Dead Kennedys, Public Enemy, oh my god, it's what I remember. Hell, even the new songs introduced in this game sound pretty good. They got a song named After Me, and it's by Hobson and Tech 9!
If you can't tell, I'm a huge fan.
The replayability is through the roof with bonus objectives, score attacks, speedrun challenges, each playable character having their own stats which you can upgrade the more you play as them. And speaking of which, you can even create up to 4 playable characters of your own playstyle. You can make your own character and skate alongside the world of Tony Hawk, or create your own personal waifu.
Don't judge me, I'm a man of taste.
Custom parks to just mess around in. The creativity is just amazing if you see what the community can create. Or, you know, you could search up the courses that essentially let you cheat. I did not deserve that trophy, and I guess my PS4 agrees as well. This game is just pure arcadey fun, and if you want to explore the world of San Francisco, New York City, or the Mushroom Kingdom, I get the feeling this game will provide you hours of entertainment. True, this specific Yakuza gameplay is nothing like the first 6, or, well, the first 7 if you want to count Yakuza 0. Changing the game from a 3D beat-em-up to an RPG, especially since in Japan this is a mainline Yakuza game and it is a continuation of the 6th entry, this game had an uphill battle to satisfy veteran Yakuza players. How are they able to make a combat that can entice new players while still making it familiar towards veteran Yakuza players? Easy, just make it like Dragon Quest. The amount of references to JRPGs and relating that to the Yakuza series is actually pretty straightforward. You got dating, much like any visual novel RPG, a Pokédex mechanic where you gotta catch 'em all. Yakuza is no stranger to its ridiculous humor, and they showcase that tenfold. You could fight a monkey operating a crane, what's not to love? And much like the previous Yakuza games, the main story provided with betrayal, mystery, and the power of family, it's all entertaining from the very beginning all the way to the end of the game. Being exiled from the Yakuza by your former mentor and father figure, living your life as a homeless man, and then suddenly the next chapter you're a CEO of a senbei company? Why is that commercial so f***ing good? The job system essentially replaced the fight stance mechanic, though one downside is that some jobs are locked behind specific genders. What, you can't make one of the boys a BDSM queen? What are you, sexist?
The entire game from beginning to end is what I define a near perfect experience. As someone who's just recently got into the Yakuza series, this is easily one of my favorites, and judging from the ending, without spoiling too much, I really can't wait to see what the sequel has to offer. Now, this is a near perfect experience. What could be better?
Out of every game I played this year, out of every game released this year, there was nothing more of an obvious pick in my eyes than the underrepresented 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. The story is easily one of the best written, dramatic, comedic games that I've ever seen, with 13 playable characters having their own unique charms and flaws. Every character has a stake in this battle, every character has their own motives and goals, and every character's story, and I mean all 13 characters' stories, managed to advance the plot in a suspenseful, playful, and functional way. I'm amazed at how well conceived the game manages to play despite its uphill battle with the plot. I can't say much without spoiling the story, but I will say that the game somehow involves time travel from the past, present, and future. That admittedly was confusing at first, but make sure that they leave out information the player won't know to make sure they want to know as they continue through the game. Now pair that up with a real-time strategy game where you and 13 other playable fighters defeat an alien invasion bent on Earth's destruction, all the while experiencing each and every high schooler with their own struggles and how they'll accomplish not just their own dilemma, but the world's dilemma. Yes, I know I'm being vague, but I really do want everyone to experience this game if they own a PlayStation 4. The graphic style looks so beautiful. The 3D background combined with the 2D anime visuals, the brain-wrapping combat that overwhelms you with so many enemies, but balance that out by making your own characters equally overpowered. Because of this game, I thought of nothing but freaking yakisoba pun because of this dude's obsession over basic food condiments.
You've got to be a complete addict to fall in love with such a specific type of consumable. Luckily, as a level-headed man, I can control my diet.
Seriously, do these people know that advertisements like these don't actually work? Just because a real-life product placement is in the game doesn't mean that we're gonna actually start buying it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but that was a year ago. A lot can happen in a year. I've completely sobered up.
And that's just for Hijiyama's story. Megumi with her Sailor Moon adventures, Keitaro trying to fit into modern society after being taken away from his own timeline, which takes place in World War II. Iori's obsession with this cute guy who happens to be a spy with amnesia that was sent from the future and into the past just to stop. They freaking had the plot for E.T. somehow crammed inside, and am I in Groundhog's Day?
I can't stress enough how much I adore this game. It is easily one of the best games I've ever played ever, and I'm sort of pissed that not a whole lot of people know about this game. So what are you waiting for? Go get it right now. It's on the PS4, and if you own a PS5, then that's great since it's also backwards compatible. If you don't own either a PS4 or a PS5, then get it by any means necessary, even if it includes murdering someone. By the decree state of law, I am advised to heavily forbade anyone from acquiring a product via theft and potential first-degree murder. The action expressed will send you the possible lifetime or longer sessions of federal imprisonment. Once again, do not murder for the sake of owning a current or next generation system. I swear, people do not know satire these days.